Guys, thanks for joining me and welcome to my channel. Today's reading is about the year from now, and rather than finding out where you will be a year from now, I want to set up the trajectory of the next year from the time that you're watching. This is a timeless video, which means you can watch it for any time frame. You can watch the video, and from the time that you watch, whatever question you pose about a situation, a person, your life, that choice will be the trajectory of the next year, culminating a year from now. Okay, so we have four elements: earth, air, fire, water. This is an elemental reading. I have another elemental reading and elemental energy update on the Pick a Card channel, youtube.com/pick a card. I'm the original creator of Pick a Card, by the way. And today what we're going to look at is this trajectory. And so you can choose between the four different crystals I have in front of me, and then maybe one of these options will clarify for you exactly which way you're going and maybe provide you some insight on what to look out for. Our first crystal today is the candle quartz, which has a lot to do with anxiety. So you have a very anxious disposition, if you're a nervous person, something like that, you may find that this crystal is very calming. It is sourced in Madagascar, and this is a twin, so we have some very, very warm energy here. Its vibe is very, very warm, very inviting. Next, for number two, I have the garnet. And so the garnet is special because this one is polished, and that's very hard to find. I actually have a friend who polishes crystals. They have the big $60,000 machine. So they polish crystals, and the garnet is polished, so I'm very lucky. I'm going to turn it into a divination dice, but that's your number two option. Garnet is, of course, for love and power and vitality. Number three, we have the Libyan glass, which is my favorite crystal. You guys know this. And this specific piece, this one's very clear. You can see through it. Libyan glass was created 26 million years ago when a meteorite or an asteroid hit the Earth, and there was a thermonuclear reaction in which the sand from the Libyan desert rose up into the atmosphere, and that's where the explosion happened and created this. So this is technically sand from the Libyan glass that has fused together to create this glass. And usually they're really chunky and you can't see them, but this one you can see through, and it's quite beautiful. Number four, we have the twin crystal quartz. And so this is a 4-pointer. I almost thought this was a Lumerian, but I don't think it is. I think this is a regular, good old 4-point. There's rainbows inside. Oh yeah, it's interesting. There's a little guy here. This could be a kid or a little animal, or this could be just you on your own with all your friends or your family. You can figure it out, but if you're drawn to this, this is number four. Twin crystals, which are these and these, oftentimes have to do with soulmates and twin flames. So this is totally random order, and we're going to continue. I'm going to do a little announcement now, so it's going to be 2 minutes, and I hope you guys keep your attention. I want you guys to pay attention to this. As you guys know, I created Pick a Card. And after that, it was appropriated at a time when I couldn't post Pick a Card videos. And someone proliferated the whole thing out to like a quadruple audience to that which regular tarot readings go to. And so during that time, these people who just kind of started doing Pick a Card, they got very salty because they helped themselves to something that they didn't create. But then when I said something, they started harassing me, trying to sabotage me, and you guys can see that reflected in my views and then also likes and comments. Sorry to reiterate, but it's affecting my channel, so I have to say something. One of the things I've noticed is that 18 to 24 is not represented at all in my analytics. So that means that the videos that are probably the most popular among 18 to 24-year-olds are not being seen by 18 to 24-year-olds. And what it seems like is that there is affirmative action going on to help people based on race and age and gender. So they're boosting, someone is boosting. It may not be YouTube, so please don't get mad at them. It could be a third party. Somebody is helping select people who hold certain qualities. These are protected qualities in Canada to give them leverage above other people. And I don't know what the politics behind that is, if it's political, but it seems to be something that's going on that's stopping my videos and helping other people along a lot. And that's frustrating. Obviously, you create something, you want to see the fruit of your labor. So if you're 18 to 24, I know you guys watch me because you guys get readings and stuff a lot, and on IG we always talk. If you guys could like, comment as many videos as possible when you're watching them, that would be so helpful, because I think that that could possibly help to notify the algorithm that my videos are there, right? The second piece is that I want to teach you guys how to comment. So I see the same people comment over and over again, and I want to say thank you so much. I like that you guys are standing up for me in this way, and I appreciate your guys's gratitude and kindness in supporting me in this situation. So when you're commenting, good practice is not to comment right when you pop in a video, like jump in and jump out. When you do that, that is going to in some way completely nullify your effort. So I don't want to waste your time. So please, if you don't have time to watch the video, don't comment. And when you're watching the video, try to watch several minutes, or like your section that you're watching, and then you will and then comment after you've watched the few minutes. Okay, so I want to say thank you again. This is just to teach you guys how to do it properly so it gets counted, because I don't like seeing the same people put in a ton of effort on my behalf and not going to nothing, right? The last thing is you have 4 different choices. You can choose one from now until next year, or you can ask about a person, a situation, and say, what's my relationship like with this person for the next year? What's my, you can kind of ask different questions for different options. You can also change. So if you choose like an option that doesn't vibe for you, you're free to choose your own life. So choose a different option and like the one that you like when you see the one that you like, to confirm the energy. So that's your way of interacting, just like saying affirmations, just like doing other things. Okay, so sorry for the long intro. Let's start with number 1. I'm not gonna like heavily edit this video or anything. So number 1 has the candle quartz. So if you chose number 1, let's take a look at your card. So this is the element of the next year. This is the dominant energy of the next year, and we're going to see what your next year will be like. So we have the fiery Palace of Wands. This has to do with spirit. So if you chose number 1, this situation or the next year ahead will be filled with a lot of things that have to do with religion, faith, maybe mysticism, metaphysics maybe, okay? Just a note, there's different kinds of metaphysics. There's Christian metaphysics, which is Aristotle, and then there is modern metaphysics, which is like physics, which is the metaphysics of current quantum physics or whatever. So some people get those things confused. Anyway, so your year ahead is the Palace of Wands. You're going to spend a lot of time in spirit. On the bright side, you're going to have so much energy and excitement for what's coming up for you. You're going to be kind of, if you're not too tied to one place or one thing, you're going to be super free. That's what I feel. You're going to do really great with this if you have the adventure spirit, and if you are up for new things and you don't get too stuck in the day-to-day. So you will be successful in the next year when you are flexible, adaptable, and when you bring your consciousness and awareness to a higher level of thinking, to that meta level, right? To that meta narrative. It's like when you understand how things work and why things work from like a eagle eye view, then you will do so well this year. Here are some cards to find out what the energy's like, okay? So we have the 5 of Cups. Okay, so one of the things that you're going to do a lot in the next year, starting right now, is you're going to confront people who have let you down, who have made you feel sad, and those people you're either going to communicate with them, you might fight with them, you might ignore them, you might put total closure on that relationship, or you might make up with them. But there's definitely you telling other people how they've made you feel. And I have a feeling that this has been for a long period of time. So you finally are opening your mouth and telling to other people how you feel about them, to in order to raise the vibration, in order to get that communication going between the two of you, so you can no longer be in a low vibrational state and be both high vibration together. The candle quartz, by the way, is very, very strong for social relationships and interactions, and this one is a twin, so it's particularly special. Okay, next one we have is the Queen of Pentacles, a Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Over the next year, you are going to very much stand up for your rights. You're going to be very, very much invested in standing up for your rights, drawing clear boundaries. Many of you who are choosing number one, I presume you're in that stage of life, maybe 18 to 24, when you are becoming adults for the first time, or maybe you're leaving a marriage, some of you guys, and you're kind of finding your identity. About a year and a half ago, I left my boyfriend of 10 years, and it's so weird because I'm in my 30s. It's such a weird feeling when you, in some way, I didn't even notice how much has changed. Like last time I was single, there was no dating apps, for example. I would never do a dating app, but so it's that kind of feeling where you're kind of leaving something behind. You've learned that you have to adjust your boundaries, and you become very, very focused on making sure that you don't overstep your own boundaries and you don't let others overstep your boundaries as well. There might be a Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn female around you who's very important and who empowers you in that way. Here is the next message. We have the King of Pentacles, Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn. Look at this connection between two people. There's conversations, difficult conversations that will happen between people. If you're married or you're in a relationship, I feel like you're going to finally say this to the other person. Remember, this is the Palace of Wands, so you're elevating the energy towards like a happier place. You're elevating the energy towards, the airing out the pink elephant in the room, talking to the other person and saying to them exactly how you feel. His head is bowed here, so to me that sounds like he's remorseful, or he feels like he's remorseful for things that have happened. This king can be extremely stubborn. Remember, the trajectory is from today until 365 days from now, so the energy will just grow and grow. I feel as though there's a reunion between people based on spiritual points. So you will reunite with someone because you look at the situation from a higher perspective. So like, let's say you have a fight with your husband, but you really believe in God, and so you turn to God and you decide to try to make the marriage work, from a higher perspective. But it doesn't come with the fact that you will continue to have to struggle. Both people are going to reconcile. Both people are going to put the effort in. There might be counseling involved to help them and to get them going on the same page. Because they're both the earth sign, this could be not necessarily an earth sign. This could be that their issues stem around finances and money, and that's where you guys got in trouble, okay? The next message is the 9 of swords, Mars in Gemini. Over the next year, I think that you're going to finally let go of something that really has been weighing on you. I feel like it's causing you anxiety. The candle quartz. I always want to call it the Madagascar quartz, sorry. This candle quartz, it just feels like you've been waiting for some factors in your life to for it to be time to move past them and to reconcile them. You've been waiting a very long time for that to happen, and there's something that's causing you discomfort in your mind or in your feelings that you've been feeling very anxious about in the past. And now you're going to finally be able to reconcile the thing that is causing you so much anxiety or stress. You're going to reconcile that fear. It's like a phobia. Let's say you're afraid of spiders, and you've been afraid of spiders your entire life. And let's say that you live in like Southern Australia or Northern Australia. Southern Australia, or like Tasmania, right? Or somewhere like that, maybe in Arizona. So maybe you're in an arid climate and there's spiders everywhere and you're like lost. So it feels like there's definitely a situation here in which you're finally facing that fear. I think it's not going to be so hard for you to let go of it or change it. You will be surprised at how easy it is for you to change it, for you to no longer be circumspect to the fear, to the fear you've been experiencing. I feel like this is like a long cycle, several years in your life, maybe a decade. Here is the next message, 9 of Rods. You'll spend a lot of time kind of on your own, possibly traveling or going somewhere. This isn't being alone because you have no one to be around. You're spending time to create things over the next year. Remember, spirit always has to do a lot with creativity. We always say water is so creative, but I think the fire signs are extremely creative, and I think the fire element is super creative. Maybe you're going to say a lot of times great art comes out of great suffering. So if you have suffered a lot in the past, maybe this is your time to kind of rise up and create something beautiful. Here is your last card for today. We have the 7 of Cups. Okay. So if you're clarifying a situation, you need to clarify somebody's feelings towards you, this King of Pentacles. There is a relationship that you're working on a lot this year. Remember, this is relationship stuff. It's a twin crystal quartz. And you're patient in this situation, trying to find out what this person will come around to. I feel as though in the past this relationship was extremely rocky, but because the energy of this year has a lot to do with kind of rising up or faith, spirit, seeing kind of taking the high road, challenging yourself to do better. Because you're in that energy for the next year, maybe you're going to tackle like an untruth or a misunderstanding between yourself and someone else. And when you tackle that untruth and misunderstanding, you'll really hold back. You're going to really sit back and in some way kind of wait for the other person to reach out to you. And when they reach out to you, then there's going to be great clarity that's brought into your life about multiple confusing things. Maybe one thing that you're getting clarity on is this relationship, but I feel like that's going to teach you a lesson about many things in the past that had you thinking a certain type of way, had you thinking, negatively, or had you in some kind of less than great places. But you're sitting back and you're focusing on like a project or something that's very important to you. You have a pet project or something, and you're negotiating with a very important person and trying to bring clarity into that relationship. So if you like this option, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I do have an elemental energy update linked in the description in the other video. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. But if you don't like option 1, choose one of the other options, okay? So that's number 1. And I'm going to recycle these cards so everybody gets a chance for the same cards. Okay, so let's see your next option, number 2. Hi guys, thanks for joining me. Welcome to my channel. My name is Veroosh, and this is the main channel. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to make the energy real. I'm always scared with this one because it's like one little peep and you guys will be able to see me. So this is a beautiful, beautiful garnet. And so you guys can see my curtains too. And the element for the next year. So just as a refresher, if you're choosing this option, this is the energy of your year from today until a year from now, culminating in a year from now. So the main energy for you is the Palace of Swords. That's the air, that's the mind. Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra people will be very, very important in your life. And I feel as though there is very interesting combination between the Garnet and the Palace of Swords, because to me the Garnet represents love, passion, emotions, right? And maybe Garnet to me is the physical body, so not really the air suit, but it's a nice complement for the air suit, because I feel as though you'll have a very important connection with people that has to do with logic. You may meet one person with whom you have a very kind of intellectually stimulating relationship with. So that Garnet can mean that there's going to be great passion that you feel towards someone, but there's also a lot of kind of like, how do you say, mental connection. First message is we have the 8 of Swords. Okay, 8 of Wands, sorry. This is Mercury in Sag. I feel as though there's a situation that almost gets away from you, and I feel like you're going to be contacted by somebody in the nick of time. So I feel like a situation is getting away from you. When I say that, I know some of you guys are second language English or from a different country, so let me clarify. Basically, you're minding your own business, and you feel as though a situation's over, and you're moving on with your life, you know, getting things together. And then what happens is that you receive some kind of communication, the Palace of Swords. This is going to be a somewhat challenging relationship. It's going to challenge you to come out of your shell. And if you're going to really, really desire this relationship, you're going to have a strong desire, the Garnet, strong desire for this relationship. And the kind words that you hear, the loving energies, only encourage you. But I feel like the Swords is going to be very challenging, like intellectually challenging. You're not going to be able to just say something and then not answer it for it later. There's going to be like a strong discourse, conversation between you and the other person, in which it's a very, very serious aspect to this relationship. So this relationship has two things to it. It has the great passion. It's almost like, imagine you've never had chocolate ice cream, and you imagine chocolate ice cream to be the best ice cream in the world, right? And so I just realized what the example I'm using. Just please ignore, but chocolate ice cream is great, and I've had some, and it's wonderful. So anyway, so imagine that you love chocolate ice cream, and you, so funny. Just laugh, whatever. It's a joke. I didn't intend it, but it's funny. So anyway, so you have you want your chocolate ice cream, you've never had it, and then you see the ice cream cone in front of you, and you just want it so bad, right? Because you know inside of you there's going to be a feeling that you really, really want that relationship. You really, really want that situation. And it's like, but it's also a challenge, because it challenges you to come out of your comfort zone. Like you have to go into the city to meet them, but you never go to the city, you know, something like that. But there's encouraging, enticing energy, but you're going to still have to put in the effort to get it. The next message is the Ace of Swords. There it is, communicating to you. It's like, it's the ice cream's far away. There's an obstacle course to get it. You're going to have to do it. You really want to try some chocolate ice cream. And you're going to have the messages coming from that energy center. I don't want to say that person. Around that person, the energy is going to be enticing you. Come on over. Say hello. You know, all of that energy. The next message for the next year. And remember, this is starting now and then moving later. So the plot thickens, and we have the Three of Cups. So to me, that signifies that this is someone you already know. So somebody's communicating. There's going to be a lot of reunions over the next year. Significant reunions. People you haven't seen for years, maybe. Different types of reunions. I do feel as though that there's a dominant energy to do with one person. Like there's someone who's chasing you, somebody who wants to be with you, that kind of thing. But there's also other nuances here. You'll be surprised to find out over the next year, you will receive a lot of communications that are surprising, okay? Things unexpected, things that are positive unexpected. It's like a positive surprise. It's like you think your brother is in Africa, but oh, there he is, you know, he just came back home, that kind of thing. Here is the next message for you guys. So this is Hecate on the bottom of these cards. They're beautiful cards. So we have the King of Swords, Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra. Sorry, not the King, the Knight of Swords. I feel as though you're dealing with someone who's going to respond very appropriately to things. This is a person who has very, very strong mind. A person around you. So sometimes, like, when you're dealing with someone, and I don't like thinking that people are smarter or dumber, but let's say you're dealing with someone who doesn't have the mental capabilities that you do, and they just, in that situation, they can't notice when you need something well, because they're just dumber than you are, okay? But you're dealing with a person here who notices, who is very, very sharp intellectually, very, very smart person. And this person has killer instincts, very, very fast instincts. And when this person initiates contact, it's like boom. So you might be very, very surprised this year over and over again. You might have this desire for our chocolate ice cream, and you give up on that desire, and that's when you're going to hear from them. And that's going to happen for you for the next year over and over again. And it's not in your personal relationship only. This will happen in your career. Maybe you'll try to rent an apartment or buy a house, and you may really, really want it, but it's going to be tough and kind of a big step for you. And when you give up, the universe is going to be like, nope, come back. And it's going to be very enticing, here's a sample. Here's a sample of fudge. Come get the ice cream, that kind of thing. So there's going to be a person around you who carries the qualities of that. And this person is going to be bringing in that, kind of bringing you around again and again when you're just about to give up. It feels as though you have a big prize ahead of you at the end of next year. The prize is not guaranteed, but it's going to be so enticing, and it's up for you to get it. And you do have a right person around you to help you get it. So whatever it is that you want, be it a car, be it a house, be it a marriage, be it a kid, whatever it is that you want. I don't mean to objectify people, but whatever it is, just go for it. The next message is the Last Judgment. A big decision made. Again, fast decisions. You're going to be put on the spot sometimes when it's uncomfortable for you, because something is going to be pushing you to commit. Something is going to be pushing you to kind of make an adult decision and go for it, to be brave. Bravery is a huge part of your year as well. The last card is the High Priestess. And so the High Priestess, you're going to gain so much insight, and this is probably towards the end of the year, but you're going to gain so much insight about your life and why things happen the way things happen, or why things were happening the way that they were happening, why it was so complicated. So you're going to have to wait a little bit to have that hindsight 2020 perspective and be able to see exactly what happened, why it happened, and how. Okay? Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this option. If you didn't really vibe with it or you want to choose another one, go to 1, 3, or 4. Okay? Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to make the energy real. And I hope you like this reading. Okay. So next, my favorite next, number 3. Sorry, I had a hiccup. Libyan glass. So you guys know, I told you guys, Libyan glass was created on Earth. It's not a meteorite, but it's beautiful. And it's one of the best crystals for manifestation. This is the same type of crystal as moldavite. It was created in a very similar way. Moldavite was created in Europe. This was created in Libya. But I think it's really important to note that the energy of this, moldavite is much younger, 17 million years. So one thing to really remember about this is that moldavite is often associated with manifestation, and it's not. It's a personal evolution crystal that has a lot to do with alien frequencies. And I don't recommend using it for a long period of time, because what it does is it adapts you to, evolves you to a state that's non-human. That doesn't mean that you're going to grow horns and a tail. What it means is that it's going to cause you to feel and perceive and evolve internally, like your emotions, mental faculties, etc., to have qualities that are not adapted for Earth. So moldavite is actually not good for manifestation. It's more of an evolution crystal. It's very intense. It's probably one of the most intense crystals on Earth. This is, if you want a manifestation crystal, this is what you want. This is buttery. This is soft. The vibration is very, very chill. Okay, so just a little bit of a crystal explanation. So number 3, we have the Palace of Cups. If you chose 3, you have the next year is going to be full of emotions. Fun fact, I had to start this over again. As you guys know, I do these randomly, and I always choose 3. And I literally said in the other video, I hope it's the Palace of Cups. So yay to us. So the next year is going to be full of emotions. I have a feeling that it's going to be dramatic and messy and beautiful. Especially if you're an artist, if you create anything, if you enjoy nature, I think that there's going to be a lot of this kind of energy that has to do with engaging with the elements, engaging with the manifesting energy, engaging with the emotions. I think this is a time when you can kind of step away from logic and you can kind of really dive deep into the energy of Piscean energy, you know, like kind of both things are correct, or, you know, a Vesica Pisces kind of stuff, or, you know, mutually exclusive stuff, or paradoxical things. Like, sorry if I'm over. So basically, you're going to be dealing with circumstances like that are mutually exclusive. You're going to be dealing with things that you can't logically reason your way through, and when you try to logically reason your way through these things, you will get incredibly frustrated. When you set back into your emotions, just like a Pisces or someone who has a lot of water transits, you'll be fine, but don't expect to be systematic. Okay, so here are your cards for the next year. Remember, we're starting now and looking at the year ahead, not where you will be in a year from now. The next, and it will end up being where you will be, but we have the Knight of Pentacles, a Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. I feel as though there's been a long amount of time that you have been putting in a lot of physical energy into what you've been doing. And that takes a lot of energy out of a person. This can also be a person who's around you who, like you, is fully in the energy of working really hard towards goals and being kind of at the end of that period of time. That doesn't mean that you're going to stop working. What it means is that your energy is sort of tired of the earth element. So your energy is sort of tired of money, working out, food. Maybe you're heading straight into emotions. I bet everybody who chose this, or the majority of you guys, when you saw this, you had the same the same experience as I did, like a sigh of relief, happiness that it's going to be sort of nonsensical, whimsical year ahead for you guys, especially this combination. It's going to be wild. And be careful who you have a crush on. If you have a crush on, like, don't have a crush on the bad girl or the bad boy. Like, have a crush. Don't send your emotions in random places just because you're on an emotional vacation for a year. The next message is the Eight of Pentacles, Sun in Virgo, hard work. So yeah, there's been a lot of work around you. I have a feeling of exhaustion from work, exhaustion with the physical world, because you have had so much emphasis on the physical world as of late, and you've been very successful. That's going to continue. The success doesn't stop. You know, when you start a business, the amount of effort that you put in the beginning becomes modified as time goes on. Then you have to put in effort again. But I think that you've been putting in a lot of effort into your physical world, and now you have earned for yourself a little bit of I would say like a nest egg, or maybe a little bit of a little bit of room to breathe. And so now you can go visit the emotions. That can have to do with love, friendships. Usually when you have this type of energy around for a year, I would assume that you're going to be surrounded by people. And I feel like maybe this person, this Knight of Pentacles, if you're a Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn, or a Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra, and you vibe with this, especially if you have an earth sign moon, there's this kind of quality of lonesomeness, not loneliness, maybe aloneness. So this person has been alone working for a very long time, and now they're going back to society. They're connecting with everybody else. Then we have the Eight of Swords. It might be a situation that you come upon that's going to be hard to solve. And I feel like that's going to be the reason why you change direction. It's not going to destroy the things that you have going on. The things you have earned are not necessarily something that you will lose. Not at all. But there's going to be a situation in which there's a hard, I think it's a practical thing. I think it has to do with like something to do with like you have to wait for, you know, a certain technology to come out before you can do what you intend to do. Or maybe you have to wait for, you know, someone to finish school to start the next phase of your career. Something like that. You're waiting on something that's not necessarily in and of itself easily reconciled. The next message is the Queen of Pentacles, a Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So in a relationship, if you're in a relationship, you and your partner may be looking in two different directions, but that's not putting a problem to the relationship. You can almost look at it as you're watching each other's back. Likewise, if you have a close friend around you or a sibling with whom you're close with, you might have that very kind of connected time over the next year where you and somebody else have like a natural bond, a natural connection, and you're sort of catching the other where the other one is weak and where you're strong. So there's a very strong friendship or connection here, but it has to do with two people coming from two very different backgrounds and two people in some way doing their own thing to, like, at the same time, if that makes sense. But they're sort of looking in two different directions, and that could sound like a bad thing, but it's actually, they're covering their bases further. And especially if you're in like a partnership or a business, having two, one person works on the computer and one person's works with the customers, that kind of thing. So you're covering a very big terrain, and there's a lot of work ahead of you. There's a lot of work. I have a feeling this has to do with laws. I feel like it has to do with governance. I feel like this has to do with not something personal, but I feel like there's a situation that you will come up against in which you will be having to wait something out that you don't have control over. You're waiting for a law to pass so that you can do this. Like maybe in your state where you live, reading tarot is illegal, right? There's a lot of places in the US that are like that. There's a lot of places in the world that's like that. But that legislation is moving through like the whatever governance you guys are run by, right? So you're waiting for something to come through, and there's a little bit of frustration, but that situation, otherwise I think that this Knight of Pentacles would continue working in the same way, draining themselves, not socializing, not connecting with people. So this is going to put like a pause to some of the ambitions that he has or she has, but also at the same time, it's going to force their hand to do something different. And that's a good thing sometimes. The next message is the Death card. Ooh. Okay, so I feel as though there's a decision for a change. I feel as though rather than kind of keep the pressure of a situation, there's a decision to change and go in different directions. The next message is we have the Devil. Okay, so you're dealing with a situation in which I see a power differential, but I also feel as though there is corruption there, or something's corrupt. It doesn't mean that the people you're dealing with are corrupt, but something's unfair in the situation, and maybe that's why you stop going in this direction. So maybe you're in some way, you were working hard on something, and then you hit some kind of awareness that it's either corrupt or something's unfair that's happening to you, and you'll have to wait that situation out so that you can sort of come out and be victorious. Okay, so I feel as though there's some fundamental change that's happening around you, and I feel like you are going to the Devil sometimes represents very big success in business. I feel like your weakness has been the emotion. I just realized what this is. I feel like I feel as though your business has been affected by emotions about you being too caring and nurturing towards other people and circumstances. This has led you to problems. That's why countries like the Chinese economy does so much better than the US, because they have less rules so they do more bad things that we would consider bad things. And that's how their economy grows, because they have less restrictions. They have a more open economy. Likewise in life, right? You're in a situation in which one of those restrictions leaves, and then you kind of grow in power, your ability to grow in power. You might be also dealing with a Capricorn. There's a lot of earth energy, or a Scorpio. But I do feel as though you're definitely taking a direction that you're committing to, a direction that you're very set on. And I feel like something is forcing your situation out of a job that you were doing and forcing you into like a much more prominent position, a much more prominent job or business. Okay, so I hope you like this option. If you don't like this option, choose another one. Remember, this is the energy now to the next year, so it starts today. And the other options are 1, 2, and 4. So I'm going to move on to 4. And if you want to watch another reading, I did an elemental energy update on the Pick a Card channel yesterday, and you can go find that in the link below, or youtube.com/pick a card. Okay, so let's move on to number 4. Let's rock and roll. Where are we at? 40 minutes. Okay, so rock and roll, last but best. Okay, so number 4. Hey guys, we have the crystal quartz, and it's so clear and so beautiful, and there's 4 points here which you guys can hopefully see. Okay, so hopefully you guys know which element we're talking about. So we're taking a look at the dominant energy for the next year for you guys, from now until next year, from whenever you're watching. It's timeless. So the dominant element for the next year is the Palace of Coins, money, Earth, Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn. Okay, so I feel as though this to me feels like the 10 of Pentacles, right? The Palace of Coins and this. It feels like, you know, a rich family. And rich can mean a lot of different things, like rich in love, passion, willingness to work together. You know, there's a lot of different kinds of wealth. So this is a very, very solid group of people. So that's going to be your dominant energy from now until next year. It'll culminate next year, but it's already starting now. So you have a very, very close family. Look at all this stuff that fell out. Let's just take them all, okay? So we have the Craft card, which is the Leo card. These are German cards. That's why the names are funny. But we have the Strength card, Leo, and then we have the Wheel of Fortune. Aren't you glad I grabbed those cards? There we go. And we have the Chariot. Look at you, number 4. I think that you're very much in love this year. Not pulling your leg. I think that certain things through your passion you will overcome. I think you need to notice that these are all higher arcana cards. They're not the lower arcana. So these are huge. If you chose this, you're probably in for a huge life event. So positive. It's like you're getting married, you're having kids, you're graduating from college, you're getting your first big job. Whatever that's going on this year, there's a lot of energy that you're putting behind it, and you're super successful. Let's start with the Leo card just to slow down. The signs associated with these cards, let me show you. Leo, Jupiter, and Cancer. So the first card, I feel like you feel very passionate about something because you feel comfort towards your surroundings. You feel comfort towards your surroundings, which makes you more confident in your day-to-day life. So you'll spend a lot of, it's like basically when you're living with your parents still, and you know they have your back and you feel strong, so you are more daring and confident when you're with them, right? So you have that kind of energy around you at this time. Whoever, it may not be your parents, it may be a different situation, but whoever's around you is really, really watching out for you, and you really understand that this is a decent situation for you, okay? It's a decent situation, and you have your people at your back. This could be your tribe, by the way, so hey. So you have the Wheel of Fortune here, and so this is the change in pace, good luck's coming into your life. You feel passion. You know, success is partly being prepared and partly being in the right place at the right time. So this is your preparation, this is your desire and preparedness. You're putting in a lot of effort towards something. You're just putting 100% behind it. You love it so much. It's like wanting to be a singer. So you sing all the time to practice, practice, practice. And here is your timing and your good luck timing. So you're here for success. Excuse me. You're here for success. So you're prepared, the timing is awesome, and the outcome is going to be successful. Let me tell you about the Chariot card a little bit, because this is not something I hear very often, but this is the fundamental meaning of the card. So the Chariot represents the sign of Cancer, and it has implications in multiple directions. One of those implications has to do with love, which means that you're overcoming obstacles in love. So if you have a hang up with regard to intimacy or love, you're going to get over it. And in business, this can also mean that you are overcoming things. So the Chariot really represents, and it means success in business, by the way. It also represents that your relationships with other people are improving. So from now on, until next year, you're on the up and up, my dear. And it feels like the foundation of this is a very close connection with the people around you. The next message is, we have the 7, the 8 of Pentacles, Sun in Virgo. And so you're working on something for sure that's very important, and it could be quite lucrative for you. You could be starting a business and then like really trying to manufacture or grow something big, and you're putting a lot of effort behind there. The next message is, we have the Death card, which is the card of Scorpio. And this has to do with change, transformation. I feel as though a situation around you will change. A situation around you is going to change very quickly, and it's going to be a good thing. It's going to allow you to quickly make an adjustment for the betterment of your life. So there's going to be like an opportunity. It's like, let's say you get accepted to your state college, right? Which is great. It's great to go to a state college, and especially in like liberal arts or stuff where you're reading a lot. Who cares where you go for the first year? It really, really doesn't matter. But maybe then Stanford emails you and says, you know, we have a conditional acceptance for you. Conditional acceptance is when, provided that you keep your grades up, you can be included. So you just marginally got into Stanford, you know, suddenly change, boom, boom, success, woo, woo. Or maybe in some way you feel very passionate about a project. Let's say you make sweaters. I love sweaters. So maybe you make sweaters and you work really, really hard at sweaters. And then suddenly somebody offers to sell your sweaters. Boom, boom, you've got a business. So remember, Palace of Coins is money, health, physical stamina, financial success, okay? And food. Lots of food this year. And good food. Here is the next message. We have the Lovers as the outcome. I told you you're falling in love. This is Gemini. So we have Scorpio, Gemini, Cancer, and Leo. Those are the people who may be important in your life. This is Sun in Virgo. I feel as though there's definitely an overcoming in a situation, and there's a reconciliation. It's not like a reconciliation in the sense that there was a real conflict or a falling out, but I think that there was a lack of fundamental understanding between people, and I feel like finally the time has come for an improvement. If you're not looking at a past relationship, then the relationship that's coming into your life this year is going to really, really help you overcome any baggage that you've had from the past. You're going to really find a real connectedness to another person. This may be like a family relationship with one other person, or it could be like a whole extended family. But I feel like if you've chosen this option, there's a lot of success for you this year, a surprising change, and a very deep bond with another person or group of people. If you like this option, how can you not? Make sure to like and comment to make the energy real. If you don't like this option, choose 1, 2, 3, and yeah, enjoy your year, and I'll talk to you soon. I do have an I did an elemental energy update on the Pick a Card channel, youtube.com/pick-a-card. Go into the description and check it out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful year ahead. All my click-through videos are in the screen here, so go to the end of the video and check them out. Thank you for watching. Bye!